Welcome everybody to the Community Empowerment and Sustainable Partnerships with Local Government panel. This is the heart of the day. The overarching theme, of course, is collaboration is necessary for restorative development in our watersheds. Can we design with nature to get it right? The session has two parts. First, to prime the audience, we're going to showcase success stories resulting from local government and stewardship sector collaboration. Panel members here today will paint a picture of what collaboration must look like in a practice to achieve the vision for restorative development in our mid-island watersheds. Panelists have agreed to provide a 5-minute presentation that showcases an example of how partnerships and collaboration are important in watershed restoration. So we have 6 presentations. So to make the most efficient use of time, there'll be no questions from the audience until the presentations are completed. Then we move to the town hall segment, and that's the roving mic. That's where Richard gets to run around with his microphone, and you guys get to be the important part of the session. So you get to ask you have an opportunity to ask questions of panelists and showcase any project on restoration that you think we should all hear about, to reflect on the 4 C's: communication, cooperation, coordination, or collaboration between water stewards and local government. We want you to reflect on the value of citizen science and how it can be leveraged to achieve 2 complementary objectives: educating local community, i.e. the public, and provide an impetus for political action and results in implementation of environmental policy at a local government or higher level. So, many of our panelists, I don't think we don't need a long introduction. We'll present in the following order. I will lead off. Now, I do wear 2 hats. I've been a director on the Partnership for Water Sustainability for a few years, but also since about 2011, I've been a member of the Mid-Vancouver Island Habitat Enhancement Stewards. That's the fancy swag and the yellow boots that I'm wearing today. Next, we'll go to, so I'm going to have a stewardship perspective. Next, we're going to Paul Chapman, Acting Executive Director with the Nanaimo Area Land Trust, and he will have a land trust perspective. Paul. Beside him is Julie Pisani, coordinator of the RDN's Drinking Water and Watershed Protection Program. Julie is here, and she will have kind of a regional government perspective on this issue. Next to Julie is Rob Lawrence, environmental planner, and with the City of Nanaimo, and he will have a local or municipal government perspective. Next to Rob, we have Ashley Van Aken. She is coordinator with UNESCO's designated Mount Arrowsmith Biosphere region. Now, her job focuses on reconciliation with First Nations and promoting sustainable development, preservation, and biodiversity outreach. Now, Shelley is going to talk to us and is a lead researcher on the Wetland Mapping and Monitoring Program. So, with the Mount Arrowsmith Biosphere Research, or MABRE, she'll provide an academic perspective on our panel today. And last but not least, is the guy on the far end. That's Dave Clough. What can we say about Dave? If you've never heard of Dave, you must be from Alberta. Dave has been a valuable support for stewardship community for years, and we value his time and participation on this panel. Now, my second role is to act as a moderator for this group, and I'll try to keep the speakers on time to ensure lots of opportunity to be heard. So for fun, I have grabbed a bag of stale buns. So if I think things are going off the rails, like presentations are taking too long, questions from the audience are not related to the topic, watch out for flying buns. My opportunity to keep things rolling and also provide a bit of levity. Okay, so everybody is going to hop up and I'm going to start the presentation on my project. Don't touch the bun. Okay, in the next 5 minutes, I'd like to highlight the efforts of our local streamkeeper group to restore Shelly Creek. Now, our experience to date indicates that a whole system approach is required to understand how best to restore this degraded creek shed. MVIHES came into existence in 1998 with a mission of conservation and restoration of salmon habitat on the endangered Englishman River Watershed. Over the years, our streamkeeper group was blessed to have a fearless leader in Faye Smith, seen here before her passing in her fashionable yellow gumboots. Faye recognized that watershed restoration can only be successful if it involves the community in a collaborative effort. Since 2010, we have focused our monitoring on the Shelly watershed in a small tributary in the lower Englishman River by Parksville. Its headwaters are roadside ditches in Arrington, flowing through typical East Coast Island landscapes to meet the river near the estuary. Over the years, we've involved hundreds of local volunteers in projects to assess Shelly Creek's ability to produce fish. Today, I have some good news, some bad news, and some very ugly news about Shelly. The good news is that the creek provides limited but valuable habitat for coho and trout populations. The bad news is that water quality in the fall, specifically its turbidity values, are the highest in Oceanside. The ugly news is that the stream channel is suffering from severe erosion and low summer flows. So, we knew we had a very sick creek. So we went to our local stream doctor, Dr. Dave Clough, for his diagnosis. And Dr. Dave said he referred us to a specialist, in this case a geomorphologist, who after close examination said, the problem that the creek is experiencing is caused by changes to natural hydrology in the watershed. He recommended a hydrology study, and specifically the water balance model. So, what is the water balance model? And as we've already heard this morning through Kim, it's a model that changes the water footprint of, models the water footprint of land as it is developed at 3 scales, from the site level to subdivision scale to the watershed. Site development data inputs are modeled with other environmental, land use, and physical data to establish measures to protect stream flows in the watershed. So, our group hired, with funding from PSF and the RDN in Parksville, we hired Jim Dumont, a professional engineer and agrologist with 35 years of experience in rainwater management, to complete the Shelly Creek water balance and sediment reduction study. We asked him to answer 2 questions. What is causing the creek to erode? And 2, to determine what the water balance of Shelly Creek is to restore its natural hydrology. His reports are on our website. To determine how rainwater reaches the creek, Jim reviewed the watershed's environmental and land use conditions. Then, using 20 years of hourly rainfall records, he modeled flow scenarios. The study concluded that stream erosion is a result of an increase in the number of hours where the creek's flows are at bank full levels. Today, Shelly Creek now has 5 times more erosion-causing flow events than it did 40 years ago. As land develops in the watershed, coupled with climate change, the duration of these flows are predicted to grow 14 times greater than pre-development flows. So how has this happened? When rainwater hits the ground, water flows to the creek in 3 pathways shown in the diagram. Water balance modeling for Shelly Creek predicted that 60% of stream flows are generated from rainwater flowing through the spongy soils 1 to 2 meters below the surface. Land development changes these water balance proportions, and interflow is transformed into surface runoff, as is the case in roadside ditching. So can we put the genie back in the bottle? Can we restore stream flows to natural conditions? Well, yes, we can. The report established rainwater targets for Shelly Creek, so that when land is developed, site-specific measures can be implemented as part of the development, as exemplified in a properly designed rain garden. Setting rainwater targets was one of 6 proposed in the study, and I'm not going to discuss them here, but the good news is that if we implemented these mitigation works, the size and mitigation works, and we can actually reduce the size and magnitude of today's stream discharges, and that's a good thing. To date, we're grateful for the support, both financial and professional guidance provided by the City of Parksville, the RDN's Drinking Water and Watershed Protection Program, DFO's Salmon Enhancement Program, and the Partnership for Water Sustainability. In future, to implement many of the report's recommendations, we know we must seek rainwater solutions in the land development approval process in Shelly Creek and Oceanside. The only way we think we can do this now is to build trust with local area representatives, local staff, and developers, and collaborate on some win-win rainwater projects. In the weeks and months ahead, MVIHES volunteers will also be engaging our neighbors who live in the watershed to discuss how the community can help restore Shelly Creek. Our theme has always been, watershed health depends on you. The legacy of Faye Smith and her mantra of engaging the community continues. Thanks.